2.5 sacks for Anderson later, 8 sacks for the Texans later. Orlovsky was absolutely right, and we have tape to show how they did it.
All right, so the 3 most important plays in this football game. Houston's offense not great. The last thing you want to do if you're Josh Allen, throw an interception in your area to give them points. This is the first half interception and why it can't happen for Josh Allen. So this is a good play design. We're just trying to create a high-low. What we're trying to do here is we're going to take that tight end and we're going to clear out this space. Linebacker, you're lifted. Great. So I'm creating what's essentially known as a high-low, meaning I have a receiver deep as the number 1, and I have a check down shallow as the number 2. High-low meaning we're reading it deep to short, and the read for the quarterback is just this defender. It's depth and width. Is he too deep or too wide for me to throw that ball deep? If he is, I'm taking that check down. Now, here's the thing. When Josh throws that football, I want everyone to pay attention to, 1, he's way too deep to throw the ball. 2, his shoulders are turned inside. So as a defender, I can go deep to that throw or drive it shallow. The ball has to get to the tailback for the check down. Josh cannot throw that ball on early downs to give Houston 3 points. The second play, the 4th and 2 in the second half, they go for it. Here's what stands out. Number 1, Buffalo would always get into what we call these cut splits. Why? We're trying to be a blocker on the perimeter. So Houston said, we're not going to allow you to do that. What Houston does on a massive 4th and 2 is because of the cut split, we're going to trigger that corner. When the corner triggers, so does everybody else on that side of the football, okay? That means that defensive end slants, and then that means this defensive tackle gets the slant. Everyone pay attention to that defensive tackle on 4th and 2 in the second half. What's he do? Blows the play up because of that twist. That right guard gets crushed, and it's a 4th and 2 stop. This, for me, this next play is the play of the game, not the end of the play. So pay attention to 2 people on this. This is Khalil Shakir, and this is Jalen Reed, their rookie safety, 6th-round pick, okay? Now, Shakir's going to go motion into the backfield. This moment is the moment, my favorite play of the game, and it's a credit to this young man. When he goes into the backfield, what does he do? Okay, what's he doing right now? He is now communicating to Will Anderson, hey, Shakir's in the backfield. Shakir's in the backfield. That means you got wide receiver away from you. When does Buffalo get into that? Look at, he's still doing it. Backfield. Why? Because Buffalo loves to take Shakir, put him back here, and leak him out. Will Anderson has to have vision and the awareness of that. Will Anderson had 2.5 sacks. He hunted the quarterback all night.
Right.
Tell me why Will Anderson doesn't rush the quarterback on this play. Pay attention to Will. Why is he not rushing the quarterback on this play?
Because he knows Shakir is going to be over there.
Because the communication from the safety, he knows that Shakir is going to leak from the other side, and then that becomes the batted ball. You think it matters? Look at Shakir. He's going to catch that ball. He's got leverage on that safety. You get a ball out in front, that could be a touchdown, let alone a first down conversion. The awareness from the safety, Jalen Reed, to communicate to Will Anderson on that play wins Houston the game.
That's a really good tape. And it goes to show you, and Bart was saying in our meeting this morning, the Texans defense is not only really good, but they're really disciplined, they're smart, they're well coached, and as a result, they've worked their way very much into this jam-packed AFC playoff picture. Take a look at the wild card races. Right now, the Chargers, Bills, and Jags have those. But the teams that are in the hunt, the Texans are there. We talked about the Chiefs, the Ravens. All 3 of those teams, Houston, KC, Baltimore, won their divisions last year. And so we've talked a lot about the Houston defense this morning, and they deserve it. They were spectacular last night. And to me, it feels like defense is kind of becoming the story of the season in the NFL right now. Look what Denver's doing with their defense. Look what the Eagles are doing with their defense, and now Houston. But I want to go back to Buffalo here for a minute. I mean, Harry, this was supposed to be their year. And I mentioned it at the top of the show. What's wrong? If you were to put your finger on what is wrong with the Buffalo Bills and why is it they are nowhere near what we thought they would be, what is it?
I think, number one, when you look at Josh Allen and the playmakers on this offense, I don't feel like Josh Allen fully trusts guys outside of James Cook. And that's in the wide receiver group, that's in the tight end position, and then across the board, the skill position players, they're in and out of the lineup. There's no consistency in that capacity. You touched earlier, Peter Schrager, about Keon Coleman and what he has to be. He doesn't have time to grow up. He needs to grow up right now because this is the window for Buffalo, and you don't want to lose it. And every time you have an opportunity to go out there and cash in, you want to do that. Now, here's the part that I thought got lost in the entire ballgame is the defense of the Buffalo Bills. The second, right before halftime, 3 drives for the Houston Texans. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. You can't tell me that you're a Super Bowl contending team and a backup quarterback in Davis Mills is leading 3 straight scoring drives before halftime.
Yeah, but you cannot put last night on that defense.
Yeah,
Like, first of all,
but here's what I'm saying, Dio.
But they're not good.
But I don't expect that defense to allow Davis Mills to go down and score a touchdown before halftime.
But the offense gave Houston 6 points because of the fumble by Shakir and the interception by Josh. So there's been moments when we can be critical of that defense. If you told everybody Buffalo's
23.
defense is only going to give up 17 really because they got given 6 points, you would fully expect Josh Allen to win that game.
That's fair. But, Bart, your old coach, Rex Ryan, sits with me on Sundays and Mondays. I don't know why anyone throws the ball against Buffalo. I mean, I'm just a fan. I'm just watching the game like a normal person. Every time you run the ball against them, you get 4 yards, 5 yards, 9 yards up the corner. Their run defense it's really bad, and I don't know that anyone can win anything if they can't stop them.
Well, that's fair, but that's also conceptually how they go about defense, playing in basically a sub type of personnel. They want to bait you to that because they don't think you can continue to run the ball down the field without getting a holding penalty or something to get behind the sticks.
Okay.
But you hit something last week, and I think they're really missing a guy like Mac Hollins. They're missing a guy that's a threat down the field, a guy that he can trust. And you talk about these cast of characters, man. Like, who's going to scare you? Who can win one-on-one? Who can he trust? I think that the organization did a bad thing by not getting a guy that can come in.
Last year, Bart, it was everybody eats. That was their mantra. And it was the same kind of deal, and it was working, but it was Amari Cooper and Mac Hollins and guys that were veterans who can get the job done. This is a crazy stat. They had 9 different players get targeted last night. That's the 7th straight game that 9 different players or more.
And guess what the greatest pass play was?
It was a
damn
fucking
bubble
lateral. I know.
Well, outside of that, damn bubble screen.
I'll add this, though.
Bubble screens.
I'll add this. They didn't have Samuel last night. They didn't have Keon Coleman last night. That's on his own. And they didn't have McCall Hardman. And, of course, they don't have Kincaid, who we're hoping is going to get back after this. They are in and out of the lineup. That consistency is killing them.
It's not fun. I ran into a couple myself. I got to be better with throwing the ball away and living to see another down and letting us play some situational football and pinning them deep. And too many times I was going backwards, and I got to be better on that.
Coach put up a picture of like some wolves in a buffalo, and like we just had that energy all week long. Like, man, we got to go hunt. Like, it got to be relentless. Like, no matter what you got going on, no matter how you feeling, bro, it's no weak links out there on the field. Like, if you want a piece of the gazelle, you got to go hunt for the gazelle. So, like, it's just funny, man, seeing everybody scrap for the gazelle, man, but it's fun. It was awesome.
You know, it is crazy what is going on right in front of our eyes in the National Football League. The AFC is supposed to be the conference that is dominated by quarterbacks, right? It's Patrick and it's Lamar and it's Josh and it's Burrow and all that. Instead, we see Denver's defense dominating. We see Houston's defense dominating. And that's why, a big part of the reason why the conference is upside down, that Texans defense is good enough for this team to ride all the way to the playoffs.
And they ran circles around Buffalo last night. Number one, Will Anderson absolutely in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Number two, what offensive front can block that front? Like, if you're a playoff team and you got to deal with this defensive front, you better do things differently than Buffalo did, because Buffalo is one of the best offensive lines in football. Not enough chips on those edges. Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, every single play, you have to chip this front or you're going to get offensive linemen down on the ground, and they match it with coverage. The second thing is, you can't be predictable with your stuff, all right? Like, you get in cut split, here comes that trigger pressure from that corner. Once he sees the tight end block, it's first down, you're underneath center. When you're under center, you're only handing the ball off or going play action. Here comes a trigger pressure, quarterback sack. The sticky coverage. They're as good coverage-wise as anybody in the NFL, and that's with all due respect to Denver and Patrick Surtain. The way that they intelligently rush. Bottom of the screen, you're going to get the upfield rush. That forces us quarterbacks to climb the pocket. When we climb the pocket, the defensive end at the top is going to spin inside because he knows that Josh Allen has to climb the pocket. I think that's the question you have to ask yourself. If you're Indy, if you're Kansas City, if you're Denver, you're at New England, can you block this front? Can you block this front? Because if this team gets into the playoffs, and I think they're going to, you have a problem.
I'll give you a name that, everyone sees DeMeco Ryans on the sideline. Matt Burke is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Matt Burke took over defensive play calling around week 3, week 4, and they have been electric this season. You're talking about a head coaching candidate right now who's coming along. Also, Nick Caserio, the GM. They took Stingley over Sauce, and everyone said, whoa. And they took Will Anderson. They traded back up in the first round
Arizona
to get him. In Arizona, they said, let's get him. They have built this defense from the ground up, and guys like Lassiter and Bullock are playing out of their minds. You have to respect the team they've built. It's a defense first, and it's winning games.
I mean, you know the reason why you send a corner blitz? because you have no respect for the wide receivers on the other side.
Fair point.
Because you're matching up a safety 10 yards off with a guy that's getting a free release. You have absolutely no respect for that.
That brings us to the second point. It's actually a perfect segue, because for as good as the Texans look defensively, and give them all the credit in the world, the Bills are so unspectacular offensively. They have as good a quarterback as maybe we've ever seen. And they've got the running back, but outside of that, they have nothing that scares you.
Who do you fear? That's what I'm saying. Who do you fear outside the running back? And you talk about how do you stop, how do you attack a Houston Texans defense? You run the ball.
Yeah.
Right? They had success. Last time I checked, James Cook hit his head on the goalpost early. So when you talk about, like, how do teams match up, I think Indianapolis matches up very well because they have a great offensive line, but they have an MVP candidate at running back. So I don't want people to fall in love with, okay, the Texans are just easy selling here. They can't be stopped when C.J. Stroud comes back, because there's ways to attack this defense. You just can't get into a game where you're dropping back, a bunch of times because they didn't respect the pass, the play action, because there was no action.
That's fair. But what remains, I think, a good point, however good Houston is or not, the Bills are supposed to be winning the Super Bowl this year.
Correct.
Right? That's what they're supposed to do. And I'm looking at all the different people that caught passes for them last night, and Keon Coleman, a healthy scratch for the second time in 5 days. And I'm wondering, is this group dynamic enough? Or they're just not, right?
They're not. And you have guys in and out of the lineup for the Buffalo Bills all season long. You have a tight end missing here. You have 2 receivers missing here. Guys come back. But Josh Allen, in my opinion, I don't think he trusts anyone outside of James Cook in the backfield. And while I'm talking about Josh Allen, he's not playing his best football. I understand that he had 6 touchdowns and accounted for last week, but the turnovers are starting to pile back up. The Josh Allen that we've seen early on in his career, and it's becoming a detriment to their team. And like D.O. mentioned, you're putting the opponent in a position to where they basically have points where you're turning the football over. And I think that offensive line, they got flat out whooped last night.
I could simplify this for where Buffalo is, okay? Because we know that they don't have weapons. They didn't have people last year like that.
They didn't have it last year.
It's the same exact group, essentially, outside of
Mac Hollins and Amari Cooper.
Okay?
But they had the 2 tight ends that gave them a different personnel group that's hard to match up with. With Kincaid being hurt, that changes the dynamic. The reason why is they took the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. That's when he had 8 turnovers last year.
Well,
now he has to put the ball at risk because they asked him to be Superman again.
Yeah, but yes, I don't like the whole, took the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. I mean, he had a historical season, NFL historics. Last year, they were plus 24 in turnover differential.
Yeah.
Plus 24. The defense, it overshadowed. It wasn't a good defense last year. They just got the ball. And then offensively, they never gave it away. This year, they're -2.
Well, they also had 30 passing touchdowns and 30 rushing touchdowns.
Right. So what I'm saying is, this is not a very different team last year than the one that, was a play or 2 away from going to the Super Bowl. The fundamental difference is the defense has always been it's been shadowed or kind of covered up with takeaways. But they've gotten takeaways. They're not this year. And Josh has given the ball away this year, and so is the rest of the team.
Let me get the sharps into the conversation here. Fortenbaugh, give me both sides of this. Give me Buffalo, give me Houston.
It's an impressive win for Houston. The thing is, it's a Thursday night. You're at home late in the season. You're supposed to win this game. Thursday home teams are 8-3. Thursday home teams are 8-3. This is a historically difficult spot. You're in a shootout with Tampa. 4 days later, you got to go play and face that crowd noise. You looked awful. The whole day, the theory has been Buffalo looked awful, Houston looked awesome. And yet Buffalo is driving down the field at the end of the game with a chance to win. It wasn't that bad. Right. Buffalo's going to beat Pittsburgh next week. They got Cincinnati following that. They'll win that game. Everyone will calm down. Houston, by the way, we're all excited about this. What about that big Monday night game at Seattle? Cooper Rush and Tennessee. They've won 6 of 8, right? 2 against Tennessee, 1 against Jacksonville, 1 against Cooper Rush, 1 against the Niners, who have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and this one. It's a good Houston team. They deserve a lot of credit. We're going way overboard today because of a setup situation on a Thursday night.
What makes them so unique in 2025 is that they are blatantly a defensive team in an offensive world. Every rule in the league,
defensive team.
Every rule in the league favors offense. Everywhere the league wants to go favors points. And this team decided to go with a strategy and say, you know what? We're going to be the ones that don't focus on offense. They have Woody Marks, and they've got Jaden Higgins as their stars last night on offense. And they're winning.
That offensive line is going to be their Achilles heel.
That defense is not going to be able to do that on the road in the playoffs. You don't have the crowd noise backing you up like you did last night. You're not going to get enough coming in on 4 days.
I love you.
You can end it right there.
That's outrageous.
How so?
This defense.
What's their record? What are they, 6-5?
Well, okay, they can't play a mysterious game versus an opponent that they don't actually play. They've won 6 of 8. This is a defense. Find the flaw defensively. They have 2 defensive ends that kill people. They have 2 defensive tackles that are dominant. They have inside linebackers that are psychopaths, and they cover. This is a defense that's going to play. We'll find out the next 2 weeks. They play Indy, and they play Kansas City.
Rams game, lost. Seattle game, lost. Tampa Bay game,
They
lost.
lost to the Rams week 1, 14-9.
So last night counts a lot. That game does not count?
They lost 14-9.
It's a loss.
Versus a team.
Last
Do you think the
night
Rams? Do you believe the Rams are a bona fide Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, without question.
So they lost by 5.
Okay.
In the first game of the year.
Now go to the Seattle game. Go to the Seattle game now.
I called that game.
Okay, now go to the Tampa Bay game.
Their defense was amazing that game.
The defense, that game was actually a little bit closer than the scoreboard.
Now go to the Tampa Bay game.
The Tampa Bay game.
They made Sam
They lost
Darnold
that
look
one as
normal.
well.
Okay,
Okay, but let's not do this. The point is made.
Greeny, we can do this all day.
No one is saying.
Uploaded the bear.
No one is saying the Houston Texans are the best team in the NFL. We're saying that defense is really good.
Makes them a
in a
contender.
conference right now where everyone has at least a flaw somewhere. If you can be spectacular at something,
They're the best.
Maybe you give yourself a shot.
I am telling you, no team in the AFC wants that team.
Yeah, you don't want to play. You don't want to play a team like that.
Want them in.
To Joe's point, they play the Colts and the Chiefs the next 2 weeks. Are we talking this way in 2 weeks?